Until a week ago, September 10th, I lived believing the world had reached some kind of balance. That in America, the land whose birth cry in 1776 declared freedom of man and the sovereignty of conscience, no one would sink so low as to kill a man for his words. America, the forest turned into a beacon, the city on the hill, the refuge where thought could be free. But then it happened. A young man was murdered. And I came out of my cubicle as Jonah came out of the belly of the whale, no longer silent, no longer running, for the freedom of man, the glory of God, for the godliness of each human being. We who are adults must look at what we have allowed. A young man's life taken not in war, not in self-defense, but in desperation, because words of reason, ethics and morals were reaching hearts. We abandoned our duty and we let the children be led by extremists. We let the wilderness of vice and rage swallow them. And now the wilderness has produced a murderer. I was born in the desert, and like the prophets of the desert, I will lift my voice. The silent majority must become the vocal majority. We cannot drift back into the comfort of our tents while the pillars of freedom are toppled. 1776 was not an accident. It was a covenant. And in 2025, that covenant calls to us again to stand for morals and ethics, for the freedom of man, for the glory of God, and for the divine image in each human being. And to the elites, the extreme left, what you did at that moment, you show the hypocrisy and the evil of your movement. You show the hypocrisy and the evil of the deep state. You show the hypocrisy and evil of those who try to turn people in the center and on the right into demons. Because now we see that all of it was a masquerade. You don't believe in freedom of speech. You don't believe in the rights of others. You believe only in your agenda. And in trying to silence Charlie Kirk, you have only aligned more people with patriotism, with morals and ethics, because now we see how the degradation of humanity and of moral principles can lead to murder. To the murder of someone who is just simply debating an issue. And now from the deserts of Judea, to the streets of London, from the plains of Africa, to the high rises of Seoul, a cry is rising. In Israel, in England, in New York, across Africa, in South Korea, people are standing, marching, saying no more. No more to the radical left, no more to the hatred of man, no more to the hatred of freedom of speech, no more to immorality and vice, no more to the systematic attempt to usurp our cultures and uproot our values. This is not a movement of one nation. It is not a movement of one party. It is a stirring of conscience, the godliness inside humanity awakening. Like the prophets of old who called from the desert, voices are calling now from every continent. Return to morals and ethics. Return to freedom of man. Return to the glory of God and the dignity of each human being. The silent majority across nations is becoming the vocal majority. 1776 was a spark. In 2025, that spark is lighting torches all over the world. People are rising, not with weapons, but with their words, their votes, their marches, their prayers, saying, we will not be silent. We will not let civilization sink into the wilderness of vice and hatred. We will guard the covenant of freedom and the image of God in each person. Charlie Kirk's murder is the ultimate affront. A young man destroyed for the audacity of speaking his opinion. Beyond that pale, beyond civilization, and because of it, we will respond. We will no longer be quiet. I will no longer be quiet. We will no longer be silent. I will no longer be silent.